Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday, May 17th. It is 10:08 a.m. here in San Diego, California. And dude, I'm starting to get to know this guy a little bit, and I'm enjoying these back and forths that we've been having today on In the Fight. He's back. Bantamweight UFC contender, Randy Zohan Costa. Thank you, brother, for coming back on.
I appreciate you having me on, dude. These are fun. I enjoy doing them.
Dude, they're super, super fun. So first things first, you do look more cut right now.
Skinny?
So, yeah, you look more cut than you did like 3 or 4 weeks ago. It feels like maybe it could just be the melon shirt. Are you down in weight, kind of prepping for, the fight in a month or two?
Well, I mean, I'm definitely I probably look leaner because I was anticipating fighting last weekend.
Okay.
Right. So I was kind of on weight. But yeah, kind of refeeding a little bit right now, but I'm definitely skinnier or leaner than the last time you and I spoke.
Okay. So like as you're prepping for this bout or whatever,
yeah,
how much of it is like, oh, I'm a good kickboxer, I'm going to just stick to what I know as being a good kickboxer versus like, oh, this is what Adrian does really well and this is his weakness, I should attack his weakness. Like these weeks leading up, how much of that is that balance?
Dude, I mean, I don't really give a fuck like what he's good at or what he's not good at. I'm just kind of worrying about what I have to do. I mean, there's no secret that he's a really good kickboxer, right? I mean, there's no secret that I'm a pretty good kickboxer. Whose kickboxing is better? Who's a better fighter? I mean, I don't really. If I were fighting like a specialty fighter, like someone who's a really good wrestler or a really good jiu-jitsu player, then I would be kind of worrying about more what they're necessarily better at than I am. But with this fight, I feel like both of our strengths are the same. I feel like I'm stronger in some different points where he's not as strong, and he may be stronger in some other points where I may not be as strong. I don't really give a fuck, dude. I'm just going to throw limbs and hopefully something lands fast. It's going to be fucking sick.
And that's why people are going to love your fights. And like, honestly though, this weekend was just like more evidence of like one of the coolest parts of MMA, at least in the UFC. Dude, you can lose in the UFC. It's okay. You just have to fight, get hot, like go on a run. And just seeing what Charles Oliveira did, dude, to like, have a couple losses early on in your career, then like battle, go on that 6, 7, 8 fight win streak, get a chance at the belt, and then to finish a guy in the second round after being down. Dude, that might be one of the coolest, most underrated things about MMA is that you can lose and your career isn't over. It's about like how you respond to that loss. I mean, that's got to be just inspiring almost, right?
I mean, dude, without a doubt. I mean, sometimes you oftentimes, not often, but sometimes you'll see guys where they'll get a loss and their stock will fucking grow exponentially. Look at Shane Burgos this past weekend. His stock is going to skyrocket and the dude got knocked out.
Which, have you ever seen anything like that? I mean, dude, I'm a guy who watches on Saturdays. I've never seen that before, but maybe you have in a gym or something.
I have never seen anything like that before, but there's a really good ringside physician. His name is Dr. David Abbasi, and he has a very, very active social media where he'll break down injuries and fights and stuff like that. And if you haven't seen it yet, I definitely recommend going to see the last video he did on why he thinks something like this could happen. Man, it's so interesting. You see like delayed finishes often with body shots, but man, you never see that with the brain. And just to hear a doctor say that it was really mind over matter with him, like Shane Burgos really wanted to fight to the point where he didn't even let himself get knocked out. Like, it's just so fucking like that man. He's just, you can't help but give respect to something like that. It was just so incredible.
So like how important is that? Like say you're fighting, you get hit in the face and you're like, oh wow, that really hurt. How much of a poker face are you putting on so that like the other guy doesn't know that you're hurt? Is that real? Is that important?
Yes, dude, it's definitely real. And it's definitely important. I mean, you see, you look at when you're in a fight situation, it's kind of like a very instinctual thing, right? You're going in and you're trying to finish somebody. You're trying to it's life or death in terms of like instinctual things and evolutionary psychology, whatever you want to look at it. So if you see your prey starting to be hurt, you're only going to capitalize. If you smell blood, you're going to capitalize. But if you're going against someone who's very stoic and very level-headed and they're not really showing any emotion, then you really, really, really have to second guess going in and committing and trying to get a finish. But if you're going against someone who's it's very evident that they're hurt and it's clear that they're wearing it in their face and the expressions and their body language, then I mean, definitely capitalize it. So you have to really make sure that you don't show any weakness.
So like who's a guy known like amongst fighters, like who's a guy known for having a good poker face or something like that?
I mean, Tony Ferguson.
For sure.
Shane Burgos, another great one. Who was that fight? What the fuck? Czech Congo versus
Pat Barry.
Pat Barry, yes, that's another good one where Czech Congo was not wearing anything, was hiding the fact that he was hurt. He let him run in on him, and he just put him right down. I mean, that's the same. It's the exact same concept. You have to really make sure that you're dialed into the fight.
Well, I'm trying to remember. There was also the, people are gonna be like, yeah, I'm an idiot for not remembering. Is it Sean Shirk who got hit with the body shot? This is like 2006, and he bends over in pain. You can it's real. Like he was hit with the body shot, and doesn't pretend to go over, but he kneels over a little bit and then lands a shot as the other guy just walks in stupidly. So. Dude, that stuff blows my mind.
It's crazy, man. Until you've been hit with a shot that kind of makes you check yourself, you don't really know how much mental fortitude that's gonna take to make sure that you're fucking stoic. Dude, that's not an easy thing. And people are so easy to get jumped down a fighter's throat, but you have no fucking idea what it's like to really see 6 of one opponent and have to remain calm. Dude, it's fucked up.
So that was, I have a blog I wrote today that's coming out later, and it's about the Canelo Billy Joe Saunders fight, and I don't know if you watched it or not, but
with the eye?
For people to criticize Billy Joe Saunders for quitting, dude, a fractured orbital bone.
Yeah.
It's bullshit to criticize. It just makes no sense to me. And that was something that, I mean, a fractured orbital bone. What the fuck is he supposed to do?
I mean, and it's not like it's a wrestling, or it's not like it's MMA where you can rely on just closing distance and hugging somebody. You're worrying about somebody throwing a fucking 8-ounce glove, who's one of the strongest punchers in the world, and people are talking shit because the dude can't fight because his eye socket's broken.
Crazy. Dude, crazy.
MMA fans or boxing and fighting fans are crazy because they're so cute and so cool hiding behind their stupid avatars on their Twitter accounts, so you can't see their face, right? But they're so fast to jump on a fighter and talk shit. Motherfucker, you never made that walk. You never signed a fight. You never fought someone who was planning to fight you, let alone fight someone who knows how to fight. Just shut the fuck up and sit in your chair.
Dude, those people won't go to a boxing gym and finish a 60-minute Wednesday afternoon workout.
Not even
let alone get in the ring.
Do 1 3-minute round on the jump rope, dude. Fuck the fight. How about everything leading into it?
That is so funny. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to talk to you about that we did not get into last time was being part of Sanford MMA gym. Because I'm interested in the culture of different gyms. At least for people that played sports, it's my homie on the team, he won every sprint that we did. He was our max bench press guy. So I always like knowing the guys at the gym, who's the toughest son of a bitch that you're dude, I don't know how that guy pushes through some of these workouts, but the guy that you're just in awe of how they persevere through that stuff. Who's a work ethic at Sanford that you're just I don't get how he does it, man.
Dude, there is one person, and I've envied or been a fan of 2 or 3 fighters that I had no knowledge of. One of them that really like stuck out. And I'm not gonna say I was starstruck, but I was like, holy fuck, like this is all real, like not an image. It's fucking Michael Chandler. People can say what they want about him, but I have honest to God, dude, I've never seen someone work so hard and just be like so helpful and so welcoming and just like never just sitting around and like reaping their own benefits. He really is the first guy to go and try to help someone, to go up and shake their hand. Like, it's just really cool. Like, he is and it sounds like I'm fucking giving Michael Chandler a back massage right now, but it's just really like someone that high up who sings up and down about really like working hard, like just to like, all right, dude, it's one thing to see that stuff on social media, but it's another thing to see that shit in real life. Like, it really is like very cool to see and very inspiring to see that this man is really practicing what he preaches.
So I'm trying to get Michael on, and we've talked a little bit back and forth about it, but he went to Mizzou, which is where I went for school. So I really, really want to talk to him about that stuff. He has, again, from the outside, he has that like wrestler hard work. I'm going to be tougher and work harder than you every time like we get in the ring. And I love the way he talks about it. He's like, I'm going to make you question how bad you want this win. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to both go at each other. You might catch me, but I'm going to make you question how bad you want to win. And that is bone chilling to hear.
It's so cool too, because he's not telling you I'm going to knock you out. He's not telling you I'm going to finish you. He's telling you that you're just not going to fucking be able to keep up with the work that I'm going to be putting in. Then that's all there is to it. And that's not a lie. That's not a stretch. It's not a fallacy. This is a true thing. You are not going to be able to keep up with the work that I do. You might knock me out, but you can't keep up with the work that I'm going to put in.
Dude, that is badass. So, I love having him over in the UFC right now, because there's plenty of people that knew who he was, right? Like, they didn't know what he was about. Big difference. You know what I mean? Like, you can know, oh, he's the super jacked, power punching wrestler from Bellator. But now you're finding out what Michael Chandler's about, and it's pretty dope to see. And like, dude, even in defeat, how gracious of a guy is he to like getting KO'd, right? You're up against a cage and he's letting Herb Dean know, like, yeah, I know, I'm good. Like, I know I got KO'd. And then after the fight saying 12 months, I'm getting the belt. Props to Oliveira for beating me. He was better tonight. I'm going to work hard and make, how can you just not love the guy?
Right. I mean, that's just complete class. I mean,
yeah,
you got this guy, Oliveira, who he's another guy that's a similar situation to Chandler, where maybe the fans didn't look at it like he deserved a shot at the belt. Athletically, they both deserve a shot at the belt. Mm-hmm. With the name value, all right, I can maybe understand why people are saying that. But now you have this guy, Chandler, who the entire show is on, all the lights are on him. The show wasn't for Oliveira. The show was for Chandler.
Yep.
He got knocked the fuck out. And Chandler came over and was just all class, didn't make a single excuse. Like, dude, he won. Tonight is Charles Oliveira's night. Tomorrow's my time. Like, there's no mistake. He's not saying, oh, it was fluky. It was because XYZ, the fucking bird was chirping. Like, none of that, dude. It's like, he won. I'm dusting myself off. I'll be back in the gym next week.
And I feel like that's almost a trend right now, and it's a great trend, because in the mid-2000s, like in the older UFC stuff, I feel like you always heard, I'm not like dissing older fighters, but you always like might hear an excuse or like, oh, that was a bullshit stoppage or whatever. And like, then last month, Jorge Masvidal gets KO'd into, oblivion with a monster shot. And what's the first thing he says is like, man, in front of all my people, I'm heartbroken. I've never been KO'd in my life, but Kamaru Usman has my number. He's the better man. Props to him. I'm going to dust myself off and I'm coming back. It like this trend, it's fucking awesome, dude. I love hearing it.
You're seeing that you don't need to be like a punk ass, like
to
be a good fighter. Like, you can be like a decent person and still know how to fight, know how to win, and know how to lose. Because, dude, that's just as important as winning. You have to at least know how to lose. You can't be this whole martial art thing is built on respect. It's not built on killing somebody. So why are you going to be an asshole to somebody that you just beat? You know what I mean? It's just so cool to see that it's really starting to grasp and people are like the real names, the name value people, the Chandlers, the Masvidals, the Conor McGregors. They're starting to like. This is really fucking cool to see, and I think it's setting an awesome precedent, an awesome standard for the young fighters and the younger kids that are coming up and looking at the sport.
Totally agree. Last thing about Sanford real quick was I'm gonna have to get a so right. I need someone from Sanford to get me a goddamn so right, because I've used it and it's fucking incredible.
It's legit, dude. I mean, I don't get paid by them. I'm not sponsored, anything like that, but like
we're changing that though. We're changing that.
What's that?
We're changing that and we're getting you we want you to get the so right bag, bro.
We need to change it. But I'm not crazy about like that hook one, like their big one. But I love the spine one. Dude, that thing is fucking awesome.
Really?
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. The one that goes on your lower spine, because I haven't used that one yet.
It's like the size of a forearm.
Yep.
Small. Dude, that one's like, in my opinion, the best one. Because those are, I mean, for me, those are my tightest muscles is around the spine.
Because I like the one you like lay on your stomach, like on your abs, and it gets like behind your abs, the psoas or whatever. Yep. And it's legit. I know it looks like bullshit from the outside that it's just like two things poking into your stomach, but it's pretty legit. So that's my only gripe with Stanford MMA right now is that I want a so right.
But you can use all those for other things as well. It's not just a fucking thing to lay on. Like you can use it to wipe down, warm up your biceps, to get the things out of your neck and your calf.
Oh shit.
It's fucking awesome, dude. It's really
okay.
cool.
Okay. Let's talk about Jacare Souza here because
dude, what?
Like, okay, so if you're confused, I want you to think about how confused I am, because watching that shit does not make sense. So it happens, right? You hear the pop on the break, and people are like, all right, was it a break? Was it like a dislocation? Because, I mean, you can't necessarily tell right away. And then the fight's over. What I didn't know was that back in the day in a jiu-jitsu match, bro, it was Gracie, right?
I don't know the whole story, but he had the similar thing happen.
And won the match because it allowed him to advance position.
Well, dude, he like tucked his fucking arm into his belt.
Oh, bro.
I get more of a reaction when I realize my fucking shoe's untied. This dude had his arm snapped in half, and you would have thought somebody called a timeout, dude.
So I don't know how to react. I don't know how to respond to that. That's not normal to everyday Joes like me. So when you're freaking out, just to give you an example, we're mind blown. What the fuck is that? Is that just like a guy who's been around the block, accepting his fate? Like, he probably doesn't come back, dude. He's 41 years old. So I don't even know what to make of it. I was just hoping you had something for me, because like there's nothing I can give that's interesting about that.
No, man. I mean, I don't have. You can't teach that. There's really no explanation. That man is just so fucking tough. There's a couple fighters that are like maybe have a couple screws loose, like are just like almost too tough for their own good. He's one of them.
Mike Perry, maybe.
Mike Perry. You know Tim Kennedy. Tim Kennedy's another one.
Yep.
Tim Kennedy would get his stitches after fights, and he wouldn't get any Novocaine or anything because he wanted to pay for his mistakes. Like,
Batman says that in The Dark Knight.
Does he? What the fuck?
Yeah, Batman's stitching himself up, and Alfred says like, "Oh, you make a bloody mess when you stitch yourself up." He's like, "Yeah, but at least I learned from my mistakes." And then Alfred says something like, "Oh, those are a lot of lessons learned then."
Have you ever seen Tim Kennedy and Batman in the same room?
Oh, dude.
Huh?
Oh, dude.
You just got
shits.
You just got bamboozled.
Oh, fuck.
That's some shit, huh?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is Tim Kennedy Batman?
I'm not saying he is, but you can't.
We can't confirm nor deny that Tim Kennedy is Batman. That's fucking hilarious, dude.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about Adrian and the bout coming up, because let's be honest here, dude. This trash talk's getting serious. Okay? Yeah. Like this is Twitter warfare, and some of the things that he has said about Reese's.
He put a good one up, dude. That did you see? He was like, Randy Costa, the type of dude to hold a picture of himself in his wallet. I was like, you motherfucker. That was good.
Bro, Listen, I love you, but if he keeps pulling out zingers like that, dude, I'm gonna have no choice but to like retweet it at some point.
I'm retweeting him, man. The kid's funny. I give it. He's fucking funny.
Did he I think he had another tweet where he's like, I just stopped at a gas station and I bought all the Reese's so I could throw it all away.
Yeah, he talks stupid shit, but I mean, I have more gas coming, but I can't really say too much right now because the reason we didn't fight this past weekend is because of me. So I have to let him.
It's very cool that you're taking the blame or the credit for why it didn't go down, but at the same time, it's all circumstantial because if that fight's in a different state, you're fighting. So, like, can you explain to people that don't necessarily know at home, like the differences in the testing between Florida? So, if you fight in Florida, if you fight in Texas, if you fight in Vegas, California, what's different about fighting in Vegas versus fighting in Texas versus fighting in Florida?
Okay, so every every testing procedure has two components. One would be the UFC's component, who USADA is in charge of. So you'll never hear people failing a UFC drug test. You'll hear a USADA drug test because USADA is the company that's contracted out by the UFC to administer the drug testing. So you have the USADA drug testing, and then you have the Athletic Commission drug testing. So the Athletic Commission drug testing is going to be exclusive to whatever state you're in. So if I'm in Massachusetts, I get a Massachusetts drug testing commission, Florida boxing commission, Texas boxing commission, California boxing commission, etc. But you have to remember, I'm getting tested by USADA and or the Athletic Commission. So the UFC drug testing, USADA, does not test for marijuana anymore. There is a 100% tolerance for marijuana. If you have signs that you're intoxicated at the time at the event, then you can have repercussions. But there really isn't a way to prove that because it's marijuana. It's not alcohol. So the USADA test is universal. So I can go in Australia and I'll have the USADA testing is going to be the same, and then I'll have Australian drug testing. In Dubai, I'll have USADA and then Dubai drug testing. So if I go to Texas, I'm going to have UFC drug testing and Texas drug testing. So Texas Athletic Commission has the lowest, and it's probably the most unfair, the lowest marijuana threshold in the United States. So the standard marijuana drug test for an athletic commission would be 150 nanograms per milliliter. So that'll be about stop ingesting marijuana for 3 or 4 days before the fight. Pretty much just don't get stoned on the night of the fight. The Texas Athletic Commission is 50 nanograms per milliliter. That's 1/3 of the standard, and that's 1/3 of what the normal drug testing is. So you have to stop smoking for 2 to 3 weeks anyway. I probably could have passed the test, but it would have been a huge risk. But if I took it and failed, I would have had, if I won, my win would have overturned, so I would have had a loss. No, I would have had a no contest, so I wouldn't have had a loss. It would have been no contest. They would have fined me, and they would have suspended me. To compare it, in a state like California, who there's the marijuana threshold, but it's much higher. The only thing that they do is it's a $100 fine. They don't touch your record. They don't do any suspending. In Vegas, it's 150 nanograms per milliliter. If you fail, you fail. You get like a $100 fine. They don't touch your win. They don't suspend you. Florida will not even test for it. The UFC is not testing for it. It was exclusively Texas drug testing that prevented me from fighting. It is unfairly low. It is like the old times. It's if you look at any UFC card that's been in Texas, there's 3 or 4 fighters every single time that fail. My last opponent had his win overturned for marijuana. What was supposed to be my last opponent had his win overturned for marijuana. It's fucking 2021. I think it's very evident at this point that marijuana is not a performance enhancing drug, and that is what stopped me from fighting last week. But the thing that I like most, I didn't make like a huge deal about it on social media because I wanted like this big pity party. I don't want a pity party at all. I want the opposite. I was hoping with that post, I would at least have a conversation start where maybe they can start reevaluating the rules if I can get enough people to start talking about it. I did do that. I don't know if they started talking about it. I doubt I started talking about it, but I at least brought some light to the situation and at least made people realize that I'm not just some fucking stoner kid. I'm just not a victim, but it's an unfortunate circumstance of what's going on. So that's what's going on. The Texas drug testing is very unfair.
Do you know why? Like, when did Florida decide to say, like, oh, we're not testing anymore? Because I almost feel like,
2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
yeah. So that's what I thought. Like, if you think about it, Nate Diaz was supposed to be on this card in Texas, and then his fight is pushed back. And now I'm starting to put some puzzle pieces together as to maybe why he didn't want to fight in Houston.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not one to make speculation or anything.
No,
like that. And that would definitely make sense.
Make a lot of sense. So that sucks. Yeah, I mean, I roll up a blunt on 1:37 p.m. live Instagram like 3 times a week. So clearly I'm
not fucking walking around smoking weed all day, or dude, it's nothing. I'm literally smoking a joint before I go to sleep at night because it helps me sleep. So it's just so I mean, they're not testing for fucking opiates. I can take heroin. Why can't I smoke weed?
That's crazy, bro.
I can go to the hospital, break my arm, and they're gonna give me opiates, or they're gonna give me painkillers, or I can get addicted to those. Why aren't you gonna test me on those? Why?
Bro, that's
fucking plan.
That's fucking crazy.
It's very unfair, but I mean, it's the rules, and I have to play by them. So I'm gonna do my part, and hopefully start a conversation where we can change the rules. But until then, I have to play by them.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that, because like from the, can be a little confusing-ish, just the changes in state. And then obviously like USADA's changed their rules a lot over the years as well. So that's great. And I saw Vegas is open, no masks mandate and no social distance mandate. So it looks like the next Vegas event or events will be just like the last few weeks or last few pay-per-views. Like, we're back in Vegas.
I hope that's right. So on Saturday, Dana said that the fight nights will probably be at the Apex.
Okay.
But that was before the knowledge that Vegas is 100% open.
Okay. What's your date? July 23rd?
24.
24. Okay. And that's a fight night?
That's a fight night.
Okay, cool.
But expect to change. My last fight, it got moved up 1 week. I was supposed to be September 26th. I ended up fighting September 19th. So I may get moved to a different date. But
so is that normal? Like, I guess I'm confused because like if you were an Adrian or down to fight last week, right? Why would you wait now another 2 months? And it's not your decision, I'm saying, but like, why would they have you guys wait 2 months instead of just like trying to get you on a card sooner? Because people seem like clearly people are pretty fucking fired up about this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure. We're trying to get it moved up a little bit. But I'm not really sure how it works. I know the UFC, they book everything in not like quarters, but pretty much quarters where they book out far enough. Mm-hmm. And when we had been talking to them before this fight was made, so 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, whatever, they had told us that everything through June is all booked. So there aren't any available dates. So then you have to depend on getting an
injury or
somebody falling out or something like that. But at that point, you're not guaranteed the opponent. So we got the opponent that we wanted. I could have probably taken a fight next week in Vegas if somebody fell out, but now I know that I definitely have an opponent. I definitely have a date. Those two things can move. I have talked to Adrian. Adrian's down to move as well. So it's really whatever they have and whatever they have opening. We're not top priority in the UFC, so they don't really give a fuck. If they have a spot open, we can try to take it. But they're not really like moving shit around for us. It's not like we're a main event fight.
Okay, that makes that makes some serious sense. Okay.
If Dustin said, you know what, fuck July 10th, I want to fight in Arizona, they're probably going to figure out a way to make that happen. But if Randy Costa, who's not, and Adrian Yanez, who's not really anything in the UFC yet, why are they going to move shit around for us? It doesn't really make sense, especially since I kind of fucked them last week with the whole commission. So I'm not kind of, right? That they understand, but yeah.
That's again, it's cool that you're taking the blame for it, but at the same time, there's not that much blame you need to take, brother.
It was really cool though. So when we had told the UFC that, it was like, the concern is that we'll fail the marijuana test in the state of Texas, but we're good for any other state, whatever. We had been talking to Jeff Novinsky. Jeff Novinsky is the head of the substance control. He is the fucking best, Bo. I cannot tell you, dude. I texted him at 7 a.m. East Coast time. That's 4 a.m. in Vegas. I emailed him. The dude texted me right away to try to get in touch with USADA, to get in touch with the lab, to see my THC levels from my past drug tests. Dude, this is at fucking 4 a.m. Why are you worried about me? I'm not even. Like, it was just the coolest thing. And so it's just nice to know that, like, my company has my back. You know, they're not off to get me because I was very upfront about everything. You know, it was just cool that they worked with me.
He comes across as that dude.
Dude, awesome guy. I emailed him like, you know, Jeff, you and I have never even formally met. I'm Randy Costa. I'm on the roster, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you, 5 minutes later, he texted me. I had emailed him. This is at 4 o'clock Vegas time. I can't even. Have you ever seen that guy? That guy's like 8 feet tall.
So it's hard to tell sometimes, like, the height of guys in the UFC because, like there's times where, like, bulky 35ers will look like these monster dudes, like, on screen, but then you realize, like, they're my size.
Yeah.
In a weird way. And then there's times where, like, 170 guys are standing next to each other and you can't. I don't know. Sometimes you just, like, can't tell how big guys are. He always stands out, though.
That dude's like 6. That dude's like 8 feet tall.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah, nicest guy in the world.
Okay, so last thing, because you're able to eat a lot of candy and you're able to stay in phenomenal shape and you run a lot, but one thing you don't really do is, like, post your mile times, like, on your Instagram or whatever. And I always, you know, whether it's like 6 miles done for the day.
Yeah.
When you're doing that, and I assume that you're doing that in addition to a practice and probably like a physical therapy session or something like that. Like, what kind of mile times are you cranking when you're doing those, like, 6 mile runs?
I mean, it really depends. I mean, so before I was like all in on the fight and stuff, I had been like CrossFit guy. I ran a couple of marathons, a couple of halves.
Okay.
My half marathon time was a 6:36. That was my time. I fucking flew through it. That was a pretty good time. I don't record my miles.
Wait,
now.
6 minutes, 36 seconds per mile?
6 seconds for 13.1 miles.
Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
Swear to God, bro. Yeah, but I don't record my I don't check my times anymore because I just kind of go in leisurely runs, because at this point the runs aren't necessarily to get me in better shape. They're just kind of to burn some calories and get moving, and I just like to hang out on the beach. But yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you can look it up. That's all on the internet.
Dude, that is fucking flying.
Dude, I couldn't even believe that was my first. I never ran over like 6 miles. I registered on a Tuesday. The thing was on a Saturday, and I came in 3rd or 2nd. I flew through it.
Dude, go fuck yourself.
I was flying, bro. I was flying.
Go fuck yourself. So, like, if you had to guess, are you saying like 7 minutes, like 7 faster because you're not running 13 miles? So is it like 6 minute miles for?
No, I'm not flying. I'll do like a timed like 5K, like 3 miles.
Yeah.
But I kill myself I kill myself in training. There really is no sense in, like, the running now is much more like a supplemental type thing instead of like a priority type workout. Okay,
so what's something like, you know, us average Joes at home, what can we do that, or like, what's a exercise that you're just a big believer in? You know what I mean? I think there's plenty of people who are like, oh, if you want to get in shape, you got to run. Some people will be like, no, it's all jump and rope. Like, get on the rope and that'll be great. Or some people will just be like, yo, get some rounds in on the bag. What's something like you believe in terms of like fitness and health as a way to like just improve like aesthetics?
With zero equipment, it would be running. It would be sprints. Not jogging, it would be sprints, and it would be burpees.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be, you don't need to do the fucking squats, you don't need to do push-ups, you don't need to do pull-ups. Like, if we're talking about if you had 1 or 2 things you need to do, it would be the sprints, because that's an explosive exercise, a cardiovascular exercise, and it's going to help you with explosion. And then the burpees, because it's going to be a constant cardiovascular test, and it's going to be the mental test.
Okay. That's
what
great.
I'm not a personal trainer.
Yeah. What's something you're really good at when you guys, like, I mean, obviously it's pretty cool to like lift and do your workout, strength and conditioning as a team, and you guys go fucking crazy. Like the date I remember, because Jared Gordon was like posting his, like, the watt bike time, and like, you got to get your heart rate up. What's something you're really good at compared to everyone else? And then what's something like you struggle with compared to the other guys? Like everyone has those 1 and 2 things that like naturally you're good at, naturally you're not so good at.
So with my build, dude, I can fucking tie my shoes standing up. My arms are way too long. I suck at all like pulling type exercises because obviously the
Like,
a lot deeper. So I don't have like the strongest pull, like pull-ups or any sort of variation of pull-ups. But I'm really good. I can jump and I can run. I can sprint. I can run fast. I'm not like the strongest guy in the world, but anything that requires like athleticism, I tend to, I guess, exceed at that.
Okay. Amazing. Randy, I'm pretty chill unless there was something else you wanted to like run over or Groovy.
I'm good. Who fights for the lightweight belt next?
I think it's the winner of Connor Dustin. You know, obviously like just like dude, Justin is just as deserving, but my guess is that Dustin or Connor will get it, considering that Dustin was offered it already and chose McGregor. And then obviously if McGregor wins, they'll give him a shot. And like, you know, you want to be real about it. And the truth is if Connor wins, he'll get the lightweight shot.
Fucking percent. Chandler versus winner versus fights that. I think the loser, in fairness, should fight Beneil Dariush.
So,
but that won't happen.
It won't happen, and it's unfair. But if you're a fan and you don't know who Beneil is, he's one of the most exciting fighters to watch in the UFC. I don't know anyone who comes forward, brings a brawl like it's mind-blowing how tough that dude is.
You know what fight makes a ton of fucking sense and should be made like yesterday is Beneil versus Gaethje.
Oh my God.
It makes all the sense in the world. That Beneil is probably uninjured right now. Justin
Aren't they boys though?
They are. I mean, that's
like almost like best friends. Like
I don't have that answer, but I do know that it was a subject of conversation at the press conference. So
yeah, I think when Beneil was still like making his climb and Gaethje had won the World Series of Fighting 2 years in a row, I think Gaethje was like letting him sleep on the couch and like helping out with money. And the way I was reading it, and every fighter's different about fighting friends or fighting enemies, whatever. The way I read it, I was like, oh, so they won't fight.
I can't blame him. I mean, you're talking about someone that he's not just like a gym friend. He's like someone kind of had your fucking back. So I understand, but I'm just saying that fight makes sense.
Last question. What do you do at 170? Like if you're Dana White and you get to choose, because I really don't know what to do at 170 right now.
Nope. So you have who's fighting?
So Gilbert has Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy. Yep.
Chiesa does not have a fight yet, correct?
To my knowledge, yep. Okay. So
Covington was said to be next. Like, to be honest, I don't know if I buy it that he's next.
I don't buy
it. Kamaru's just chilling. He's like, yo, someone at some point, you know, they have to fight each other a little bit. Then you have Leon and Nate Diaz obviously set to fight. And
that's not a fucking title eliminator. Come on. I mean, it is. That's what
it is.
But that's not a fucking dude. The title eliminator should have been Gil Burns and Colby. They should have done Wonder Boy and Chiesa. They should have done Leon and Nate Diaz, and Usman should be waiting until the fall for the winner of Gilbert and Covington. What makes sense.
And you know who got fucked out of all of this is Bilal, your buddy, dude. Like
he got way fucked out of that, but I don't think he should be.
Not top. Yeah, I agree.
He deserves. I mean, he got Damian Maia, but Bilal would be a perfect candidate for someone to fight Chiesa.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense. You're talking about someone who had a shitty outcome from a high level fight in Leon Edwards, who Bilal stepped in and saved the fucking card, and you have Chiesa who's nipping at the bit and trying to get a big fight. Why not match those guys up? Who does Mike Chiesa fight now?
I don't think he has an opponent.
So who does he fight? Is it Covington? Because I don't think it can be Covington. That's a huge fight for him, and he doesn't deserve that. I mean, Covington's coming off a title loss. You can't have Chiesa he beat someone in the top 8.
Chiesa's last win was on the like Abu Dhabi midday, like it was at like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m.
Wednesday card.
Yep, and he's pretty big at 170.
He was fucking huge at 55 too. Isn't that scary?
But he looks almost like bigger now at like he looks bigger against 170ers than he did against 155ers. Dude, he just like his shoulders got so wide, bro. He is so broad right now. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I agree with who the fuck fights Chiesa? I'm looking at the rankings right now. Dude, honestly, you go Chiesa versus Vicente Luque.
Yeah.
And then
coming off the brawl with Tyron.
What's that?
Coming off the brawl with Tyron, right? Because they had the back and forth brawl.
So then that would be everybody besides Covington in the top 8 or whatever. They should be doing Masvidal versus Covington. That fight makes a ton of sense. They should be doing Chiesa versus Luque, and then that's everybody in the top 8 right there. That's your title eliminator. Right there.
I really want Colby versus Masvidal.
Dude, put that shit in fucking Miami. You sell out the Hard Rock. You sell it out.
It's like no question. It's so easy. It's a guaranteed sellout. It's a guaranteed like 700,000 pay-per-view buys.
Dude, it wrote itself. You can put that anywhere in Florida. Anywhere in Florida. And Florida is wide open. They've been to Florida. They owe Jacksonville some stuff. You have Miami. You have 2 Miami fighters you can headline the show with that fucking hate each other.
That's the one that I really think you just make it right now. You make it right now.
But that's what sucks is that Masvidal is now coming off a knockout loss. You can't put him in right away.
Yeah. He needs time. And it was a bad one too. So you just got to give him a little bit of time.
Right. I mean, I think that makes sense for the fall. And then you could have, then you're lined up to have whoever would win that fight for the belt at the beginning of next year. After Usman defends again in the fall. I mean, that's
not bad. Dude,
just call me fucking Randy White.
Dude, my God. You got that Dana White privilege.
Dude, that's
it was the best bar I've heard in years. Dude.
Did you watch the press conference?
I watched maybe 25 minutes of it. I watched a good portion. I don't know if I saw the whole hour or whatever.
Tony Ferguson was a loose cannon.
Bro, that guy's nuts. So he's a he's a Vayner Sports guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like he's like part of our sister company. So like in theory, I should be able to get him on the show. I'm literally so scared. I won't ask. I'm too scared to ask to have him on the show. I don't even know what I would say to him.
No, I mean, you can't say anything. I mean, does he even speak English? I don't fucking know. How does he communicate?
Bro, what am I supposed to, like, if he's my guest right now, hey, Tony, how's it going, man? Tough fight last week, but you're awesome and everyone loves you. I don't know what else to say to him, dude. He scares the absolute shit out of me.
No, I mean, dude, I'm a huge Tony. He's fucking awesome. But part of the Tony thing is the crazy factor. You can't. Have you went through and read like the jokes like Tony the type of dude?
Oh, bro, of course.
Dude, one of them had me fucking crying. It was Tony the type of dude to text with his elbows. I fucking almost fell on the floor. He probably is.
Bro, those fucking memes are so funny. But the other cool thing was I was reading like, and I'm gonna let you go because I've already held you way too long. They were talking about like Tony, and it's like, if he's not a fan favorite, you're not paying attention because he's given a shot to Dariush, to Oliveira, and asked for more pay this week for the whole fighting staff. He didn't say like, yo, Dana White, pay me more. He said, yo, Dana White, give us $75K for fight of the night and performance of the night. Dude, he's kind of the fucking man when it comes to like, paying respect to the other fighters. Like he's putting his name out there on the line for the other dudes.
Dude, he fought Gaethje. He had no reason to fight.
Zero reason.
5-fight win streak. Why are you gonna fight Gaethje? You wait for the belt. Dude, and he was a company man. And then you go, oh, you lost to Gaethje here. Fight this fucking killer from the favelas in Brazil. And then you lose. Like, dude, this guy is a madman.
He's so fucking crazy. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna say to him when he's on the show.
Fucking lit.
All right, Randy, bro, I thank you. You're super, super chill. We'll do this again sometime soon, maybe like the 2 weeks before your fight, and then before then we'll go live in like 2 weeks or something. We can go live for the June 10th pay-per-view. We can go live for July 10th as well. So Adesanya in Arizona, and then McGregor Poirier will go live for that as well.
Money, consider it a date. Sounds good, bro.
My dog. Take care, brother. We'll talk.